Backpacking into retirement years doesn't get easier, but you keep a couple of key points in mind, it can become more fun than ever. Retire earlier, plan routes to capabilities, and match gear to expectations. You are, after all, the world's expert on what makes fun for you, and that's the foundation for making great gear choices. Grab a pencil and a piece of paper and complete this sentence in as few words as possible. I want to go backpacking so I can. Maybe you know the answer to that right now. Maybe you need to think on it, peel away the layers of reasons until you get to the real core of why you want to lug a bunch of weight out into the wilderness and sleep on the dirt. The next exercise is to go stand on the curb in front of your condo and ask yourself what would happen if that building weren't there. Don't think about the financial or emotional impact. Just what would your daily needs be to get through the next couple of days? Then do the same thing in the bedroom, bathroom, TV room, kitchen. I know I get so caught up in whether the tile grout has the right shade of tint. I don't always see what actually goes on in there. This exercise is to pry open the mind and see what actually happens. You've got that big cold storage cabinet. What if you didn't for a few days? And that stove and the pots and the pans. And go to the sink for that near miracle of modern innovation. You lift a lever, maybe turn a knob, and out comes potable water. All you want, whenever you want. You won't have that convenience out in the woods. Because we have the same needs out in the woods as we have at home. The difference is how to address those needs in 45 pounds of stuff instead of 45 tons. The next exercise is to make it real. Pick a destination you're going to find exciting and plot the route. Now that you've made it real, imagine your way through it. I like to do that at night, several nights usually before every trip. And you want to get prepared for it by taking a couple of chest breaths. Real expanding chest breaths that inflate your lungs all the way to the bottom and scrape out those latent pneumonia germs. Now see yourself pulling up in your car at the trailhead, enjoying those last few moments of air conditioning while you let the dust settle. You switch off the ignition, take out the key, open the door, get out, shut the door, lock it, and turn to walk away with nothing but your car key. So what do you feel? What do you need? Well, first might come to mind that you need a pocket for your key. So perhaps a pair of pants would be good. Maybe a shirt too, to keep off the sun and the bugs and keep those little Cub Scouts at the trailhead from going crazy. Probably a sun hat too. It gets hot out on the granite. Sunscreen, sunglasses, lip balm. You want a sturdy pair of shoes for hiking out here. Good socks. I like gaiters and a trekking pole. So you can figure this stuff out. See your pack as developing the best possible system towards serving your purpose in backpacking, and then each individual component makes the best possible contribution. Now you can start to make a category list. Shelter, sleeping, and clothing are one good system to think of together. Hygiene, hydration, food, and all its related things. Lighting, fire, and and most importantly, how to put it out if indeed it is legal and prudent and safe to have one. First aid, emergency and repairs, and comforts. Now it's time to make your spreadsheet. In the upper left-hand corner, title if you will, you want your core reason for backpacking. Column A will be your categories. They won't do any calculating. Column B will be your overall estimation of how well the item meets the needs of your core reason for going backpacking. Column C is going to be a bulkometer, a scale of 1 to 5, how bulky it is. Column D will be what it weighs, or a target weight if you haven't picked the item yet. Column E will be the specific item. Column F will be the generic item. Column G is the circumstance the piece of gear needs to serve. For example, shelter. And column H will be cost. The first circumstance is shelter. So let's say you're going to want all the adventure you can get, and the only shelter you're going to have is a sleeping bag. It being your only defense against the weather, you probably want a synthetic 25-degree bag. For $100 you should be able to get down to about 4 pounds, and I'd say a 3 on the bulkometer. How well it works is, of course, based on your feelings. Let's see if that adds up to save any weight. So maybe you want to play it safe with a bivy sack, and for $100 you can get a 1-pounder and about, I'd say, again, a 3 or even maybe a 4 on the bulkometer scale. Well, maybe you want to keep the weather completely off you, so you go to Lowe's and get an 8x10 polyethylene tarp for $10. About 1.5 pounds by the time you put guy lines on it. And a 0 on the bulkometer because it's as big as tarps get that you would carry backpacking. And because you might get wet, you might want a spare shirt and pants. So now you have 4, 5, 6.5, 7.5 pounds. Of course, you don't have to carry every piece every time. Now consider carrying a 3-season weather-tight tent, such as you might get from TigerOutdoor.com. Sorry, that's the only ad you'll have to hear for this. 5 pounds for the whole thing. And then once you have that figured out, you've got a base of information for choosing the perfect pack. Been a pretty rigorous spell of thinking so far. Probably better kick back and let off some of the stress from all that hard work. Maybe listen to the beans boil for a while.